guys, so I'm so excited for today's video because it is about the NATASHA DENONA Glam palette. I like literally almost dropped my phone. My jaw dropped to the ground when I saw preview pictures of this on Instagram. I love this palette. So spoiler alert, I love this palette. It is absolutely gorgeous, but let's get down to the details. So this palette is $65. It is one of her 15 pan eyeshadow palettes of the little bit smaller size. So it's like the same size as her bronze palette and her sunrise palette. The shades in here are so absolutely gorgeous. I purchased this off of Sephora. It came overnight. I ordered it when it was released yesterday. It came overnight. It got here early. The packaging was amazing. It came in like that corrugated cardboard inside a cardboard box inside the Sephora box. So it arrived with no problems whatsoever. So let me just give you a close-up shot of the actual palette here. It is one of the hard plastic packages. So you can pop the shadows out in the back here. There are pinholes. So if you do want to swap out these shadows, you can. And we've got a nice big mirror on the inside. But let's take a close look at the inside of this palette. So again, we've got 15 shades in here. They are, I mean, I'm just going to say this over and over again in this video, I have a feeling, but they are just really, really beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. And the naming of the shadows, definitely pretty funny. She has named the shadows where I guess she thinks they belong. So we have, you know, center eyelid, we have crease, we have transition. So I thought that was pretty cheeky. I thought that was really fun. My only issue is she has like 4 center eyelid shades in here. So 4 shades in here are named center eyelid. Is that a big deal? No. And it's definitely not a deal breaker. But as someone who likes to reference the shadows in a video as I'm talking to you, maybe as I'm doing my look, it's just a little bit confusing. So actually at the end of this video, I'll be doing a demo and I'm just going to be pointing to the shadows. I mean, I'll say what the shadow name is, but it's just a little bit confusing. But let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches. So I swatched them from left to right, top to bottom. And I'm going to read off the shadow names, but it's going to be kind of silly. So anyway, the first shade we have here is Center Eyelid. That's a metallic shade. Then we have Outer Eyelid, a metallic shade. Next we have a Chroma Crystal shade called Inner Corner. Next we have Crease, which is a creamy matte. Transition, which is a creamy matte. Smoke, which is a creamy matte. Blend, which is a creamy matte. Lash Line, which is a creamy matte. The rest of the shadows are all metallics. So the next one we have is Inner Corner. Then we have Center Eyelid. Again, we have Center Eyelid. Outer Eyelid. Again, we have Center Eyelid. Then we have Outer Eyelid. And then finally we have Brow Bone. So like I mentioned, I just received this palette in the mail, so this is a first impressions, but from what I can tell of my finger swatches and out of the 5 shadows that I used for my eye look, this palette I think is the best one that she's come out with in terms of the formula and the consistency of the formula and how all of the shades perform. Sometimes I find with NATASHA DENONA shades, there'll be one shade in there where it's like, this one doesn't seem quite as pigmented as the others, or this one doesn't seem to perform quite as smoothly as the others. From what I can tell and from what I've played with so far, and I did, you know, kind of like brush swatch a few of them on my arm just to get a sense of the shades before I did my eye look, these are incredible. They blend together like an absolute dream. I feel like I just swiped a shadow across my eyelid and it just sort of did this magical thing where it like changed tone to where I needed it to. It is just absolutely beautiful. As far as I know, I don't believe this palette is limited edition. It's not labeled that way on Sephora, just FYI. And all of these shades in here are brand new to this palette. So I am like completely smitten with this palette, with the color story. I just think it is just so gorgeous. I think she has a really nice balance between these 5 mattes and then the rest being metallics. As you guys know, I am a sucker for like a metallic kind of like neutral to cool tone, like taupey brown. And we've got a lot to choose from in here. We have this shade up here, this one, even this one's kind of a silvery taupe. This palette literally takes my breath away. So the 2 shades in here that kind of, you know, stick out from this very kind of like neutral, cool toned color story is this upper left-hand corner shade. I actually have this on the center of my eyelid here. It is so beautiful, but it has like a little bit of like a pinky pinkiness underneath there. It's really gorgeous. And then this gold shade, which I mistakenly like dug my brush handle into, but this gold shade is, you know, I want to say the warmest out of all the shades in here, but it is by far not a warm gold. It's actually pretty neutral. There isn't a lot of like yellow going on. So I just love the consistency of this color story. And I feel like the timing of this palette is just perfect. I mean, this to me screams fall. I know for fall, sometimes I think of like rust oranges and olive greens and like warm golds. That also screams fall to me, of course, you know, pumpkin spice lattes, but I can see wearing like a rust colored lip with this palette. Oh, and it would be such a beautiful pairing. And then you get that like warmth in there if you wanted to. Like, I think this is, even though it's cool tone, I think this is a very versatile palette. I think you'll be able to wear any lip color with this palette and make your look a little bit warm or a little bit cool, kind of depending on your lip. So NATASHA DENONA, I feel like this is a stroke of genius. This is the palette that I didn't know I needed in my life. It is stunning. To me, this is just such a winner, such a gorgeous palette. Anyway, before I go on and on, let's go ahead and jump into this demo. All right, I'm gonna start by going into this top left-hand shade. It is called Center Eyelid, but we know a bunch of shades in here are labeled Center Eyelid. So it is this one up here. And I'm gonna use my Sonia G Builder Pro brush. And I am going to put this on the center eyelid. Oh, I just love this cool tone pink satin shade. It's so beautiful. And then I'm gonna take this smoke matte shade right underneath, and I have my Refer number 15 brush, and I'm gonna add this to the outer corner and blend that over that pink metallic shade. Wow, these are blending beautifully. Wow, I could just leave it with these two shades, but I definitely want to use more for you guys, but isn't that pretty? Wow, okay. I am going to use this inner corner shade, the one in the middle in the top row here, and I'm just gonna grab like a really small eyeliner type brush. I've got my Refer number 3 brush. I'm gonna go into this shade, and this one is a very kind of crystalline shade, so it's a little bit, I don't want to say chunky, it's like just a little bit piecey, and I'm gonna add that just to the inner portion of my lid. Oh wow, that's super bright. Oh, I love that. Right here in the inner corner, down here as well. And I'm not like stabbing this brush into the pan. I'm kind of like placing it on its side at an angle and rolling it in. I always find I'm able to pick up a little bit more pigment that way without like just kind of creating a bunch of like fallout in the pan. All right, okay, and now I am gonna grab one more shimmer shade. I'm gonna grab this outer eyelid shade. It's in the bottom row, the 4th one over. And I am going to take another flat shader. I've got my Refer number 2 brush. I'm just gonna pick this up, and I'm gonna add this basically where that like matte shade met up with that like pink metallic shade. So I'm just going to place that down there. I think I have a little bit too much on my brush, so I'm going to place the rest there. And I'm going to take a fluffy blender brush. This is my Esom G34 brush, and just kind of buff it over that whole area, just to add a little like kind of shimmery smokiness to that outer corner. And then I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to go into, I think I'm going to go between the crease and the transition shades, these two matte shades on the upper row here. I'm just going to kind of go back and forth between these two, and I'm just going to run this over everything. I am going to take a clean Refer number 3 brush. Again, this is like the liner brush, and go into lash line. So that's the center matte shade, and apply this to my lash line. Wow, that is a fantastic eyeshadow to line your eyes with. I'm just gonna grab this Refer number 12 brush, and it's like a dense domed brush, and I'm just gonna run it over the eyeliner and really kind of smudge it out. Wow, I am loving this eye look so much. These shadows blew me away. They blew me away. Incredible. Okay, I'm going to put on some lips and I'll be right back. All right, my look is all done. I'll have down in the description box everything that I have on my face other than this gorgeous palette. I'm in love with this palette. I am so happy NATASHA DENONA came out with a cool tone palette with just straight up like creamy mattes, straight up metallics. We've got that one chroma crystal shade in there, but oh my God, it is just stunning. I love it. It's like she read my mind. I think she read all of our minds, but I feel like she read my mind and came out with this palette, and I'm just, I'm so pleased. This is such a winner. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.